Janvi.
Thank you. The medium is the message. When a newborn enters this world, their only strategy for survival is communication. But how will an infant communicate, you ask? I'll tell you one of my mom's patent dialogues she tells me at least once a day. Even a newborn has to yell and cry for her own mother to know that she is hungry. Why do you think people will understand your point, Janvi, if you don't communicate? Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Communication is an art. I have, in my 20 something years of being, communicated not just by talking, but through my music, dancing, singing, sign language. Okay, at least I tried. And through my eyes. Other people do it also with their cooking skills, their paintings, and all the skills I am not affiliated to do yet. I communicate through stories. I love telling stories, and that's a valid reason to why I joined Toastmasters. I always wanted to be a storyteller. Luckily, humans have the ability to tell a story. So, let me tell you one. Have you ever wondered that every single person was once a stranger to you until you decided to have that very first conversation? Do you remember the first time you ever had a conversation with a stranger who's now among your closest friends? Some strangers become your friend, lover, confidant. However, others are just stories to tell. This one time, I took a 10 rupee rickshaw ride from college. The other girl who was with me had to get off at a stop before mine. However, she forgot to bring her wallet. So, like a good Samaritan, I decided to pay for her with a show of my hand. Confused, she looked at me for some time. Suddenly, she smiled and then put her hand in her bag. To my surprise, she took a dairy milk silk out of her bag and offered it to me. I was reluctant at first, but then she made a face as generous as the shining sun on a cold winter morning. I couldn't say no. Mark Twain rightly said, actions speak louder than words. That was our little conversation, which hardly had any words but was filled with emotions. Communication does not always require words. Sometimes it's your aura you communicate through, and the magnetic force pulls the other person close to you. That's when the magic happens. As I said earlier, the medium is the message. Okay, tell me this. How many of us write a letter even today? Or has this digitalized social media era totally crippled our patience? None of us? What if I tell you, okay, we have one hand. What if I tell you to go back today and write to an old friend from school? Because it's time we communicate by going back to the basics. That is, writing letters to someone you care about. Writing letters is wonderfully therapeutic and a beautiful way to feed our soul. And receiving them? Oh, what a gift. When I was in a boarding school, my parents wrote letters to me. Now, let me tell you this, I am a sucker for letters, definitely born in the wrong time, a total old school. Anyway, so they wrote two different letters to me and attached it together. Mama wrote, Beta, how are you doing? Are you eating well? We miss you. Dad wrote, Hello, how are? Khana kha ke jana ha? Literal translation is, Hello, how are you? Do stay for lunch. Confused, right? Well, if you remember, this was the catchphrase of Hansa from Khichdi, if I'm not wrong, the show we watched together at home. I cried while reading my mom's letter, while my dad's letter burst me into laughter. Both letters had the same content filled with equal amount of love, but their communication styles totally different. What beautiful days they were. Communication was so simple. All the hero had to do was pour his heart out in a letter and give the letter to the girl of his dreams. Today, Gen Z and Gen Alpha have come up with an entire new language to mark themselves cooler than the boring Gen X and Gen Y. Millennials. They have abbreviations to random words each day and keep themselves updated to never miss out. We are three generations at home. My mom, she's a Gen Y. Me, I am a Gen Z. And my brother, a Gen Alpha. You should see us communicate. It's hilarious. I think just yesterday, my brother was going somewhere and he asked me, Didi, how do you like my drip? I was so confused. Drip? When I Googled, I realized he was asking me about his outfit. So drip is equals to outfit. My mom's situation is no less. When we were chatting the other day, I texted her on speech. Yeah, but TBH, I think you should give it another try. The very next second, she texted me back. TBH? Question mark. To be honest, communication is like water. It can be in any form. We just have to be aware and use it purposefully. In the stories above, I communicated not through just my eyes or letters and social media lingo. My dominant style helped me express better through stories. But it is not important which medium you choose or what style is most important for you. What is really important is that you forget about all the insecurities around you and just take the first step. The world is a huge library and there are people of different genres to choose from. Do not hesitate to take that first step and communicate. Communicate with as many people as you want. And you never know what one conversation, what one lingo, what one style can turn into. Thank you.
Excellent, PM Shamil. You gave us a little bit reality check of present time, as well as took us back into the days of Hansa Band. Hello, how are khana kha ke jana? So nicely explained. With this, we move on to our table topic session. No news broadcast is complete without reporters asking unexpected questions at a live press conference. That's exactly what our next segment is all about. Contestants don't know the questions beforehand, yet they must think quickly, remain composed, and deliver confidently, just like a